Commissioner, just want to go into the special education aspect a little bit with the Common Core. Like yourself, I did quite a bit of traveling around the state last fall doing forums on Common Core, and one of the things that came up everywhere we went was with regard to special education, and in particular both teachers and parents, that they felt that they were lacking in some resources and direction really as to how to align the child's IEP with the Common Core. And we heard some stories like of a parent who got all the homework home with their child and called the school and said, listen, his IEP says he's only supposed to have so much homework or whatever. And the response the parent got was, well, then only make him do half of it. I think that is really not an acceptable result for something that's supposed to guide the education of a special needs child who, how to get them from point A to point B and what constitutes progress for them may be different than what does for other students. So just wondering what SED is doing to ensure that the resources are there for the special education teachers to make sure they know how to properly align with Common Core. I know it's touched on in this handout in the professional development section, but B, how do we make sure that the teachers are aware of what's there so that they know that the IEP is still the document that should be controlling the direction of that child's education?
Yes, thank you for the question. I very much share your concern about this issue. And I want to emphasize that we have made significant investments in professional development in this area through our regional special education technical assistance centers and our special education parent centers. But I think there is more to be done, both at the state level and at the district level. One of the priorities in the professional development fund that we've proposed, $125 million for next year and $200 million in each of the years after that, one of the priorities would be to support districts around professional development for teachers and parents on helping students with disabilities reach these new higher expectations while honoring their IEPs and the specific program that's been developed by the Committee on Special Education.
Yes, because like you said, a very important area, and we want to make sure those are children, that we want to make sure don't get left behind in all of this. I know there's been talk over the last few months, and the regents and yourself were pursuing the waivers in terms of their testing level being tested at their developmental level as opposed to grade level and all of that, which is important. But we heard, really just heart-wrenching stories about special education students and how they were dealing with both the anxiety in the classroom of the instruction and also the testing. So I'm glad to see that in here, and I hope we can make sure teachers around the state who are so dedicated to teaching those most vulnerable learners know that there's resources there and make sure that they can properly align the IEPs to their instruction, because I don't really blame the teacher in any way for that story that we heard. It really speaks to just I think something new coming in and them not knowing exactly how to balance the two. And I think the IEP is there for a reason, to make sure that that is the document that's directing the child's education.
I think that's exactly right, and I'm glad you raised the issue of the waiver. We could use support from legislators around our waiver request to the U.S. Department of Education. We expect that the regents will discuss this at their February meeting, but we have proposed a waiver that would allow students who are not taking the alternate assessment but who have very significant disabilities to take assessments at their instructional level rather than their chronological age. And we will need the permission of the U.S. Department of Education to do that, and support from legislators for that proposal would be very helpful.
I would be happy to, and I'm sure many of my colleagues would, to help support your department's request and the regent's request any way we can. Thank you.
Thank you.